All right, hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Sports Reporters, who have indeed reassembled. Andrew Hammond up there in Detroit, Michigan, of the Detroit Free Press. Andrew, good morning, sir. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. We were recording this on a Sunday, so the second or third weekend in February. I don't know. Time is a flat circle. Either way, it's Daytona Day, y'all.
I'm glad you were about to say that because it is Daytona Day, and Bob Silverman up there in New York City.
Go left fast?
Oh, they're going to go fast. If you ain't first, you last, and Bob Silverman knows that better than anybody else. He's pre-gaming in Manhattan, New York. It's Bob Silverman of the Daily Beast.
He's having a morning cocktail.
Yes, he's ready to go. He is just.
I'm in Brooklyn. Two.
Yeah. Well, no, you're in Manhattan for the race. Like, that's what I assume. Like, Manhattan's where you want to be for Daytona Day. Brooklyn doesn't feel like a Daytona NASCAR spot, but Manhattan.
I don't know.
You're gonna go to a nice steakhouse and watch it.
There you go.
I really don't know. I'm sure there are Daytona, I'm sure there are NASCAR bars here somewhere. New York manages to find bars for pretty much anything, so I'm sure there's a NASCAR bar.
Have you ever been to a Tennessee sports bar in New York?
No, I went to a Georgia bar once. That's as close as I've gotten to a college football bar.
What's the best Knicks bar, if you had to say? What's the best one?
The local teams don't have that as much.
Really?
Yeah,
that's fascinating.
There's no if you go to a bar here, there will, and any of the big four teams are playing, they'll usually be thrown up on a TV somewhere. But if you want a bar that caters to your specific fandom in New York, you can find it, but not for the local teams. The local teams are just it's just sort of everywhere. Like there is a Georgia Bulldogs football bar in the East Village. I wonder if they still are, but for years they were a Cincinnati Bengals bar. So that if you were you would see you'd be wandering around the East Village and you'd see a bunch of guys saying "Who Dat" outside the bar.
No, not "Who Dat," Bob. That's Saints.
Who Day.
Who Day. Yeah.
Get your dats and days correct.
This is an anti-Saints podcast. We can't be having any Who Dats in here, Bob. No New Orleans.
I'm sorry.
Actually, it's Mardi Gras week, isn't it? Is it Mardi Gras week?
I believe it's Mardi Gras week. I don't know.
Really?
Have you ever been? Either of y'all been to Mardi Gras?
I've never been.
I've never been to Mardi Gras, but went down to New Orleans. It was like hey, I'm stupid and I'm going to do some fun stuff in college. And we went down and went back. And it's a not safe for work topic, but yeah.
I feel that. What's the best?
This is a family show.
This is a family show. What's the best Detroit sports bar, do you think? What's the main one you found?
I don't frequent sports bars because here's the thing about sports bars. And the thing that nobody really wants to talk about sports bars is sports bars are a ripoff. I'm sure there's some good sports bars, but I'm sorry. If I want to watch a game, I don't want to watch the game with guy who comments on the internet and his reply guy on the internet to misogynistic tweets and is
big fan of a certain account.
Well, not even that,
company.
But just sports debate guy is always in there, or that guy's on my fantasy team. I just want to watch the game. I don't want to hear your side conversation about your fantasy team. So my friends and I, we would go to a bar and watch NFL all day because they had this cool thing called Red Zone where literally it was like a 30-inch screen or 30-foot tall screen or whatever that would just show the Red Zone channel all day. And it was really cool. But yeah, just no. Sports bars are all the same.
The place where annually I would go with some New York media types, there's a German beer hall in Fort Greene that has very delicious sort of sausages and pretzels and
beer rocks
and fancy beers for people who enjoy that sort of thing. And they'll pull down the big projection screen for big NBA games. So that's always a fun place to go.
Pretzels are underrated. Like I got a pretzel at the movies last week, and I had not pretzels and mustard. You just can't go
pretzel
wrong.
at the movies?
Yeah, it was delightful. It was so warm and like it was incredible. Speaking of movies, this is like an early pick of the week here because it's not my pick of the week. I can just say it. My wife and I went to see Missing last night with Nia Long. Quite good.
Oh yeah, how was that?
Quite good.
Nia Long, one of my future wives.
Future wives.
She's available, Andrew.
She is.
Yes.
Like I'm sorry, I could coach the Boston Celtics and not do anything.
No,
wrong.
you could not coach the Boston Celtics.
I could coach the Boston Celtics.
You know what you would do, Andrew? You wouldn't coach the Boston Celtics because you would be so committed to Nia that you would not want to waste
I would just remind people that I am married to Nia Long.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would do.
Well, you could do that without the Celtics gig. It's not.
Well, I mean, I could be a manager of an Applebee's and I would remind people that I am married to Nia Long. Mm-hmm. I would say, "Hi, welcome to Applebee's. Oh, by the way, I am married to Nia Long.
Mm-hmm.
Nia's fantastic. How's your day going?"
Do you think that in this future world where you are married to Nia Long, she's going to require that you run an Applebee's?
You know what? Hey, you got a problem with that? You got a problem with a man working?
No, I'm not.
Bob's anti-employment now. Wow.
No.
Wow.
I'm not.
Wow.
I'm not coming down on the service industry. It's a perfectly fine job, and I'm just saying.
I do feel like
she's got enough money that you might not need that gig.
I have always wanted to be a trophy husband.
Okay.
Like, look, Dolly Parton's husband. Like they've been married for 40-something years, and he's just, hey, I love my wife. She's doing her own thing. I'm at home eating, cheesy puffs and watching football. Probably watching some Tennessee.
Yeah, you could be Stedman. You could be the Stedman to Nia Long's Oprah.
Absolutely. Just take me to the red carpet. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying you don't need to put in the 10-hour shift at Applebee's.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I would never put in a 10-hour shift
because this is a fantasy of yours where you're married to Nia Long and you're still like, yeah, but I need to punch the clock here.
Well, I mean, but I'm a common man. I'm the common man.
Okay, sure.
I can't let everybody know that, my wife is completely loaded. I have to keep a low profile.
You want your own side
money. You can't let people know that your wife is loaded. You need to keep a low profile, but
I'm going to let people know that I'm married to Nia Long.
At front of house, you're saying, "Hi, welcome to Applebee's. I'm married to Nia Long."
Bingo. We just need to establish that it's called duality, Bob. Mm-hmm. Lean into it.
It is.
Yeah. I'm just saying some of the parts of this fantasy may conflict with your stated first principle.
Don't care.
It's your jam.
It's whatever.
Man.
It's whatever.
Rock out.
Thank you. You're welcome.
I think the main portion of what Andrew's looking for here is to find a way to marry Nia Long. I think that's the.
I get that.
Yeah, it seems like that's a big part of this.
Andrew, have you worked in the service industry before?
Hell no.
Okay.
Hell no. No. I respect people that do it.
So you're going to use your marriage to Nia Long as as to get your foot in the door at Applebee's.
We all got dreams, Bob.
It's true.
I've been a busboy and a runner at one restaurant. That's the extent of my service industry work.
Y'all, I've
also done bartending. I've catered. So
yeah, I've done bartending. I don't call that service industry because you're kind of sort of a therapist.
No, it's service industry, 100%.
No, that's a service industry.
As a long-term bartender in my 20s, it's a service industry job.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess I have had a service industry job.
It counts. Trust me.
Yeah. Fine. Whatever.
Yeah, no,
keep going. Go back to what.
Yeah, I was the only bartending I've done, not at an actual bar with a shift. It's just a few here and there, catering industry type things where there's one main where your only job is to just make the free drink and hand out the spiked punch that they have. So it's not like I'm required to make an old fashioned or a Manhattan or anything like that. Just to be clear,
I can make those. And just in case you guys want one, I can make those.
There you go. Yeah. Which naturally leads us to some sports conversation, guys. There's some sports that happened. It's a weird
Such
day.
as?
Well, Bob, you and I were talking about before, Andrew, like before you jumped in here, it was like, it's kind of weird that we just have nothing on Sunday. Like there's no NFL to actually prepare for. There's no college on Saturday. God. Like our weekends just kind of open back up. Where like, I think my wife and I might go on a hike after this. We have
are you sure about that?
What do you mean?
Are you sure about that? Because there's the XFL.
Oh, no one's
doing that. You have the USFL. Look, man, I'm all for. I'm not going to deny somebody trying to, get a buck.
Oh, for sure. I'm just not watching.
But
like your Applebee's gig while married to Neil Long. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm just at a point with spring football where it will never be enough because one, hello, we're in America, and two, football is such an addiction for this country. Like I was looking at the rating for the Super Bowl, and literally like the
big ratings,
like the 34 out of the top 35 shows of all time are literally Super Bowls, other than MASH, which is probably one of the most overrated sitcoms ever, but whatever. Yeah, just...
Are we getting into MASH talk here?
No, it's all good. Talk? It's all good. Just wanted to get that shot in. But no, I look at football, and it's just... It feels like it's just too much, but it would be nice to let these sports just have a chance to breathe and like build organic.
Guys, pitchers and catchers are reporting. What are you getting all huffy about?
Here's my question.
Back this weekend.
Here's my beef with that though. If Major League Baseball is gonna be cool, they've got a perfect opportunity to do it. But here's the thing: they won't do it because their regional sports networks are having issues. So it's like you're getting the opportunity to really have a chance to capture that spring, time sports window, but they aren't going to do it. And it feels so empty because we're just running out the clock until NBA playoffs and the NCAA tournament.
There is an All-Star game this weekend. You're not going to actually watch the NBA All-Star game. Neither of you are going to watch the NBA All-Star game.
I'll probably watch it. I mean, like, I'll check. It's one of those you keep on in the background, like, oh, okay. Yeah.
It's just not
also,
for me.
The All-Star game, they killed a lot of the drama because Adam Silver wants to give everybody a trophy with the whole,
wow,
we aren't going to do
the millennials killed the All-Star game. That's what you're going with today.
We aren't
millennials destroyed chain restaurants and they're paying money for the avocado toast and they destroyed the All-Star
I'm sorry. Hey, man, avocado toast isn't that bad. But no, what I was going to say is the whole everybody getting picked, we don't want anybody to get picked last for the All-Star game. Like, you killed all the drama of and plus it's pickup basketball
of some guy getting owned. Yes, we don't get to watch the joy of everyone.
Here's what makes me upset about it though is that you've got the NBA All-Star game. You've got a game of 30 to 32 billionaires or millionaires and soon to be billionaires on the court. But God forbid one of them gets picked last. I'm sorry, millionaire basketball player. You are picked last. Therefore, you suck at life. Here's your $200.
He's got a room full of agents yelling at him because he created a scenario where one dude is going to get owned for a day and then forget about it. Can you name the guy who? Harden got picked last, I think.
But Harden got picked last because Kevin Durant wasn't going to do it.
Because Kevin Durant and LeBron, and they were both decided to It was funny. That was awesome.
But also, that was probably I don't want to say it's an inside joke, but it was just like I figured LeBron wasn't gonna do it, but then
it's a game for the basketball addicts like you and I, Andrew and Chase. Of course, we partake in this. The casual fan is not paying attention to the drama between Kevin Durant and James Harden enough to suss out why that's important and very funny.
It's just funny because there's no drama there, but it's funny.
The point is that it's the NBA is facing a very I'm not going to get into sports ratings talk because I think the majority
do it, Bob.
I think the majority of it is just cord cutting and viewing.
Bob, you're
the NBA spent they spent 10 years leaning into the idea that social media engagement was going to be a way that they could dominate sports, and it just hasn't worked. They haven't figured out, and it's really bizarre to me because the actual basketball product, the actual game on the floor is as good as it's ever been, but they've systematically devalued regular season games, and players resting, which they're, by the way, not doing by choice. It's being done by teams because they want to win, and they realize that the 82 game schedule does not actually provide enough time off for these guys to recover. Has made that only sicko addicts like all of us are sitting there paying attention to a random Hawks Pistons game in late February or something like that.
Because also people like to gamble, and
they haven't. I mean, look, I've said it on this podcast before. The way that if the NBA wants to recapture fan interest, the easiest way to do it is to shorten the schedule. But that will never ever happen. No, shorten the schedule, and that'll never happen. Shorten the schedule, set up distinct game times. So there are games Tuesday, if you want to avoid the NBA, you have games like Tuesday, Wednesday, or avoid the NFL rather, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday night, and then Sunday night. Okay, you're going up against the NBA, the NFL for the first, for the fall and the winter, but then it's all yours in the spring. You set up a very clear schedule so that everyone knows, okay, Tuesday at 7:30, that's basketball time. That's the time when the basketball is on the TV. And you make scarcity so that these games have value.
Football mastered this, right? Lockout. Where exactly. And what Major League, I don't know if y'all have kept up with what MLS is doing. So MLS is back
with
in a
Apple
couple
TV?
Weeks. Yes, where they're only on Apple TV, but it's also only 2 days a week. Everyone knows it's Wednesday and Sunday now.
Yes. It is a smart way to go about it.
And the way that MLS is doing it is because they do have the spring to fall window.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to do it like European soccer. Like, you can actually designate those times.
Mm-hmm.
And with some of these teams who are playing in dual, purpose stadiums for both soccer and football, it's really the only time some of these teams can play.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I feel like MLS knows their place, and they aren't trying to they can say that they're trying to compete with, the other sports, but they're running their own race, and they're doing an effective job of it. Hi, Major League Baseball.
I was going to say, I think MLS is ahead of, I think the NBA and the Major League Baseball are going to follow MLS's lead, which is funny because I feel like they are fighting following MLS's league, which is going straight streaming, and then those seeding the NFL and college football and being like, they are always going to be on top. This is just not, we can't have the same kind of regular season. We can't do this, but we can do some steps to fix the regular season. We have to do something because the NFL regular season and the college football regular season are perfect entities, and that is just not the case in these other sports.
The NBA needs to figure out a way to make the product actually more important because all of this league drama, the idea that NBA could be a 12-month league, and that people
has faded
who aren't deeply addicted sickos like all of us here in this pod are going to pay attention to all that stuff. It's just not happening.
Mm-hmm. And you're trying to
because then you're competing with everything that's on the internet as opposed to just a sports league, and the NBA can't win that. It's NBA TikToks are not going to keep the NBA, in the lifestyle it's grown accustomed to. But
can I say something real quick?
And on the same point though, when this TV deal does come up very, very next year, it's still going to be a giant boatload of cash. It's still going to do that.
And I just want to I'm sorry, but I gotta
pat
myself on the back.
Okay, I thought you were gonna thought you were going to dap there for a second.
No. Oh, God, okay. No. I just want to say 2 years ago, I had said that ESPN acquiring every sport under the sun was a choice. And it's like, oh, yeah, we have more money than God. We can do that. Now they're getting down to the point where it's like, which children do you care about the most? Because you're gonna have to fashion your next ship for a certain amount of things that you can take on it. You can't take everything with you.
Yeah, they're gonna.
What are you gonna have? What are you gonna sacrifice him?
Look, Turner said the same thing. They were making noises of, well, we're not sure we can afford this next time. I mean, I predicted on this very program that one streaming platform is going to get a chunk of NBA games.
Do you still feel that way?
Yeah, I still do.
Who do you think it is right now?
Do you want to real quick? Do you want a lockout? Like, do you want to take that on with a lockout?
There's not going to be a lockout. There's not going to be a lockout. Oh, I don't think the labor difficulties are in the NBA or.
I'm not going to be pro. I'm not going to be pro owner in this. I will just say that the owners have some points, guys. Like the players' union. Look, love y'all, but the whole requesting trades. It's like you were not giving these. Owners.
Oh, the requesting trades. Charles Barkley sitting there making a rant about these guys running around. The dude refused to play in Philly in the summer of 1992.
No, that's fine.
That's why he ended up in Phoenix.
All I'm saying
and then he refused to play in Phoenix and made it very clear he wanted to play in Houston when he got traded the next time. Come on.
All I'm saying is the whole player empowerment thing, like you're giving the owners.
The player empowerment thing meant a few superstars get to have a little bit more leeway in deciding where they want to do it. That has
and now it turned into everybody.
I think that is a minuscule. That has had a minimal amount of impact on the number of people tuning in to watch and pay.
Oh no! Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I agree
minimal.
With that. All
Anyone
I'm saying is
blaming the player empowerment era for this drop off in NBA fandom when they were feeling very much themselves and like they were on the verge of, maybe we can compete with the NFL. That is no. It's the larger socioeconomic factors, the change in viewing habits, cord cutting, the way that fans consume actual sports. That is. The NBA could have instituted a hard cap and said, no, you're actually, once you sign a contract, you are wed to that team for life. Like there are no, like they could have eliminated trades and it wouldn't have done anything to change.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I'm just saying that what's happened between the last CBA that was signed
up until was 2015?
Yeah, so that's when when they.
Jamie, when was the last?
So I'm just saying,
it was a 10-year contract. It made it 20. No, it was 2014. It was a 10-year contract.
Yeah, between then and now.
Thank you.
And it's just like, guys.
I swear it is just factors that were entirely beyond the NBA's control. Unless you really wanted to say they should have had the foresight, like to realize that like so many properties that social media engagement is very different to call profit from on anything but an individual level.
But those mid-levels players from the 2000s, they were a problem, and we're going to tweet about it, and that's going to drive people.
Well, I'm more concerned. Like it's not even just the player, like in player empowerment era. I think it was more It was the contracts for me that scared me about the future of the league. Do you remember the 1 to 2 year deals for LeBron signing the 1-and-1s and like when guys are holding teams hostage on that?
That did not.
No, what I'm saying is I thought it was going to become a bigger thing. Like if it would not be good for the league if all of its if Giannis started doing a 1-and-1 in Milwaukee.
Why? It wouldn't be. It would be neither.
Well, because
good
as a
nor
GM,
bad.
you can't build like you don't know what you're building every single year. It's just weird.
I think it's the impact of that on actual. Like I'm telling you, the actual impact of that on people who like watching basketball games and or attending basketball games. I swear it's more the fact that they're gonna that players take the second night of a back-to-back.
Oh, I agree with that. No, I agree with that. I'm saying for me, that was something that scared me about the view, like how I viewed the product. I agree with you. Like that's not what the average fan who's going in, but for me, that was my biggest fear of where things were going.
It didn't bother me at all, but.
Well, I guess in talking to games, you look at it with the portal, right? Like part of what makes college football harder for a lot of these coaches now is that guys into the portal, and you have to reload a quarter of your roster every offseason now. But it makes
is college football fandom been impacted one iota from?
Yeah, I mean, college football ratings are going down. Like ratings are down, and I think it's
I'm not a
what they've
college
done
lover,
is
so
they have
there
made
you
it
go.
impossible for college football fans, the average fan, to keep up with the sport outside of their team because they don't know where anybody is anymore because
But
so many guys are moving around.
But the problem,
but isn't that secondary to the question of like the fact that all of these that every that all these Power 5 conferences are consolidating and constantly switching places. But the problem more than the portal window.
Yeah,
like the actions of the actual, of the SEC and the Big Ten, and I mean, is the SWC still a thing? Is the ACC still a thing? I don't know. But as an extremely casual college sports fan, I honestly don't know if they still exist.
Yeah, but the problem about college football was they took pockets of a regionalized sport, like massive pockets of a regionalized sport, West Coast, Mid-Atlantic, Big Ten, SEC, all that, the Big 12/Big 8, Southwestern Conference. Like they took all the major pockets of that and they've consolidated them. But the great thing and what made college football good was you had those pockets, but within those pockets, you had more regional enhancement. The problem is, and I experienced this out west, is that the caretakers of the sport, i.e. ESPN, Fox, all of this, when they began centralizing the main focus, especially ESPN, when it comes to the college football playoff, it turned everything else secondary. So if I'm an Oregon fan and I want to watch my team, who's second or third place in the Pac-12, play a game in November, I don't care if what's happening with Alabama, Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Notre Dame, whoever, if that doesn't have any bearing on what's happening with me out west, why would I want to watch? And plus, even like the quote unquote significant games that are being played are now playoff focused and playoff driven, which I get why, but at the same time, you're ignoring what makes the sport have that national appeal. And now it's a weird balancing act that they're trying to catch up to, but the money train and the differentiation between the money between these schools and conferences and whatever, we're headed towards the massive
but like wasn't college, I mean that's a decision by the networks. Wasn't college the appeal of college sports, and again I'll speak to my very limited experience in college sports, was as a young lad being into Big East basketball. Okay, I watched a lot of Georgetown Syracuse games, Georgetown St. John's games, Villanova games, and Villanova Pitt, Villanova Providence, like those regional games. Granted, the appeal was until the Big East started getting big. That was a regional appeal, and then the Big East got, because of Syracuse mainly, got hooked on the amount of money that was available for football. And so they started bringing in football schools to the Big East. And then those basketball games just stopped being, all those rivalries just got watered down to the point where you didn't care about them anymore. And so that's when I stopped paying attention to Big East basketball. But like in the late 80s and in the early 90s, those Big East games were awesome because of the rivalries that have been built in. And you can't do it when you start bringing in like
South Florida. But the thing is, if you compare those, a West Virginia, which is a good Mid-Atlantic to East Coast, program in both football and basketball that carries because they essentially carry the weight of a state. And you can have those rivalries, you can develop those things with a Georgetown, a Syracuse, what have you. It's great. But once you go into the South Florida region, because you are
nobody cares.
To get, like Louisville, no problem at all. But what is the appeal of grabbing South Florida, which is a pretty much a commuter school. Nobody really cares. And God forbid, they make a run, which they did in 2007. Yeah, it's awesome. It brings the conference to the forefront, but you can't wish and hope for that long-term success.
I'm blaming Rutgers for this. This is entirely Rutgers'
Those
fault.
bastards.
Yeah.
But the problem is
gabagool.
Well, but you're also seeing it in college basketball, because why in the hell would Gonzaga look at the Big 12? Like, in any other circumstance, you're like, why? But they see and they understand that the money for the college football train is leaving.
Does Gonzaga have a football team? I assume
No,
they do. But
no,
they
don't have a football
they
team.
Not? Okay.
No, but they understand that the money train for basketball is going to dovetail with those contracts and all the money that's coming. They see, oh, I'm going to have to compete in this in this new college basketball space that's evolving. Yeah, why not talk to the Big 12? Because distance doesn't matter anymore.
Well, it's also the Big 12 is
right,
just. I think what's interesting about the Big 12 and Brett Yormark, who was a longtime executive for the Nets, who's now the commish.
Also, can I chance to say one thing?
Yeah.
Hey, Big 12, Big 12. Hey, buddy, get that TV deal locked up, because the Pac-12 doesn't have a TV deal. You don't.
Well, I think the Pac-12 is going under. Like, now, I'm looking more and more. I think the Pac-12 is about to be picked apart by the Big 12 and the Big 10.
Well, but
I think we're going to be down to 4 big conferences after this is all said and done.
I would say the Big 10 too. I think the Big 10 is gonna put their flag out west.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. I think the Big 10, the Big 12 just pick apart. They break up the Pac-12 and pick who they want.
Okay, so as someone who's not a college sports fan, so the ACC, that doesn't exist anymore.
No, it exists.
The
ACC is in a tough spot because they have a grant of rights deal that lasts for like another 12 years. So if they did not have that, the ACC is over.
Can we just explain to Bob what it was a smart move then. It was they made a smart investment back in 2014, but then like the entire market flipped on them. And so now it's like you're stuck in this really crappy deal, and one of your biggest moneymakers, Notre Dame, can literally just go.
Is Notre Dame in the ACC?
For non-football, for everything outside of football, they are in. But the thing is, they can sit there and go, you know what? This whole Big Ten thing, the fact that we can get on Fox, CBS, NBC anytime we want, and we really don't need to be in this conference. Like, they can, like, the buyout for Notre Dame, it's a significant buyout, but it's like you can count on one hand how many schools could pay that buyout, and you just go, oh. But also Notre Dame didn't want to pay a $2-point-something million.
I was hoping you would bring that up. The poverty franchise that is the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, who took their prospective offensive court. Bob, this is some Knicks stuff. Like, this is something the Knicks would do.
Very Knicks stuff.
This is very Knicksian, where they brought in Andy Ludwig, the current offensive coordinator at Utah, was seen at a basketball game, a Notre Dame basketball game with current head coach. Or hockey game, yeah.
It was introduced at the hockey game.
Yes. Marcus Freeman is their head coach, and he was sitting next to Andy Ludwig. So it just seemed like a formality because they were together. Like, he's current Utah. Why else would they just bring him out in public and the two of them be seen? And then they reportedly did not want to pay the 2-point whatever buyout to bring him in away from Utah. So they ended up promoting from within their tight ends coach, and we'll see. But I mean, his offense is pretty anemic.
So they lost their off. I'm just trying to understand.
So
Tommy Rees went to Alabama. They lost their OC to Alabama.
Yeah, to Alabama. So what I'm trying to figure out, and maybe I don't know if I'm pretty sure it hasn't come out as to where and who stopped, the train of this rolling. But if it has come out, I apologize. But I'm wondering, is it the AD Jack Swarbrick who was like, you know what? I don't know if we can do that. Or is it the administration? Because that's where I feel like, especially with a school like Notre Dame, you've got to have alignment from the top on down. And so I'm not saying that I'm blaming Jack Swarbrick or he shouldn't go without blame on this, but for somebody who has been as, oh, does it make money? Sure, I'm down. Is it just him, or is this a situation where, oh, it's people above me who are making these things, and sorry, I would love to, but I can't. That's where I feel like with Notre Dame, you've got to have the conversation, because Brian Kelly left winter of 2021, and one of the reasons why, he didn't feel like he was supported. So is it?
They didn't win a lot of games, though. They were bad under Brian Kelly.
No, you can make the case he's the best Notre Dame coach of all time.
Yeah, you can make an argument. All right,
never mind. Continue on. Sorry.
But the problem is, I think, especially in this space now, with the way college football is evolving, and it's becoming an arms race, not just with facilities or with NIL, but it's like you've got to have a 5-pronged attack when it comes to how you're going to build a successful and sustainable program. Because there are some programs that are just like, you know what? We may have to take a step back for a few years and then wait for the market to come back to us. If you're Notre Dame, why are you doing that? Is it because we're trying to stick with our morals academically, which
good luck with that.
Yeah, cute, wonderful, congratulations. But at the same time, you probably do have the money to just leave the ACC once the Big Ten's like, hey, you hate being
Notre Dame is in the Midwest. It's in Indiana.
You have natural rivals built in, and you can basically do whatever you want. But until Notre Dame is financially impacted by a college football playoff where they're shut out, which people want to say, oh, yeah, Notre Dame used to join a conference. No, they don't.
Not anymore, especially with the expansion. Like, that's definitely gone.
It's like, why? It's like, why would I take a pay cut because y'all broke?
You also got your own network. Like, you're the NBC network. Like, that's just, you have this great thing on Saturdays where, to transition a little bit, Bob, what if the Jets sign Derek Carr or trade for Ryan Tannehill? Are you there now? Because I don't. Last time we talked about the Jets.
Was that an or?
That was an or. I think it's one of the two. I think they either trade for Ryan Tannehill.
I think in reading
what with Rodgers?
I think Rodgers is out.
I think
he's going to retire. He's going to be a man in the wilderness.
I think he's going to come out of his 4-day darkness retreat, which, by the way, beautiful. He's going into his cave for 4 days.
Is he still dating Evangeline Lilly? Or are they broken up?
He was dating Shailene Woodley for a while.
Oh, I thought it was Evangeline Lilly.
No, it's Shailene Woodley.
Oh,
from the Divergent series. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I got my Lees confused. Mixed up. I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, she is not
my demographic.
Shailene Woodley is the crunchy new age actress that he's dating. Evangeline Lilly is the Lost and Ant-Man and the Wasp star, who's also a little anti-vax. But no, he's dating Shailene Woodley. And everyone wondered, okay, why is Thoreau Rogan dating this woman who has, why is he dating the actress who was at Standing Rock protesting the pipeline? So, because that seemed like an odd match.
Throw Rogan, the
you haven't heard that
came
before?
up. No. I remember that day. The names that came up. I just sat there and I'm like, I'm watching society just kick so much ass right now.
They're having fun. Why is Thoreau Rogan dating this far left actress? And if you talk to anyone in California, there is. You get a little horseshoe theory where the people on the left and the right, they sometimes cross over on the other side of the spectrum. But leaving aside his politics as they were, I'd have to put a tank top back on and start standing up like McAfee if we were going to go there. But I don't think he's I think he's going to say he wants to stay in Green Bay at the end of this, and I think the Jets sort of
does
kind of
Green
know
Bay
that.
want him though?
Yeah, I think they will. They'll take another year.
I don't know. Did you read the Bob McMinnon and Tyler Dunn report?
Yeah,
what did they say?
Yeah.
You got to read it because they said a lot, but ultimately it sounds like they're done. They're done with the Aaron Rodgers.
Then I have a feeling. Then he's going to the Raiders. I don't think the Rodgers to the Jets thing is.
See, I don't think it's the Raiders either. Do you know where I think he goes?
Where?
I think he ends up in Tennessee. I think he's a Titan. My gut tells me he's a Titan.
He either goes Tennessee or he's looking somewhere in the AFC because I think he wants out of the NFC.
Well, he's definitely going to the AFC
will trade him
because I think
the
Packers are going to keep him out of the division. I think so. That's why I think the Jets are eyeballing Derek Carr. I think it's Carr before it's. I think it's going to be Carr or Garoppolo, but I think it's probably going to be Derek Carr.
I think Garoppolo ends up in Miami, and then I think.
Why? You think Tua's retiring?
You can't go into next year with a full. Like you cannot go in with just Tua. Like you have to bring in competition. You have to prepare. Like how many concussions has he had to this point? Like is it still safe for him to play football? Like why is Tua still playing football?
Tua's going to still play football. Why?
I mean,
it's not safe for anyone to play football. I think Tua's
that's true. But I mean, he just had. I mean, we saw some scary stuff with Tua this past year, and I don't know. I don't think you can go into next year with Miami and be like, all right, we're set.
I thought this was Jets talk. I don't know why.
This is Jets talk. Well, I wonder for you because you started off like taking away the off the field stuff with Aaron. Like, were you excited about the prospect just what Aaron Rodgers could do with this Jets
I had
core?
No idea about his fondness for ivermectin. So let's live in that world for a second.
Ivermectin unitis.
Yeah. Why wouldn't I? Would I not? Would I be excited for Aaron Rodgers and the Jets? I mean, sure, I'd get behind it. I'd watch. It'd be whatever. I'd get into the right mindset by the time the actual regular season started.
Would it be harder or worse than the Favre Jets era? Like, did you have to? What are the differences?
2008, I was working on a bunch of plays and I wasn't paying much attention to the Jets at that point, but I was certainly aware of the Jets Favre era. I feel like those late career moves with greats, like it worked with Brady for 1 year, but I just feel like those don't pan out ever. It's a short term. Like I was interested.
Stafford?
I was interested in drafting Anthony Richardson, but you college football knowers were like, no, you don't want that. He sucks.
You don't. It's not that he sucks. It's that like when he's good, it's fantastic. When he's bad, hide the women and children and turn away.
That sounds like the ideal New York Jets experience.
But do you want a black version of Zach Wilson?
Well, we've already had Zach Wilson, so we're already.
But do you want a melanated version of Zach Wilson? Because that's what you're going to be getting.
Okay, so I have a feeling just because of what the damage it would do to their cap and the amount of draft picks it would cost, they figured that 2 years of Derek Carr as a caretaker.
There's something wrong with trading 5 second-round draft picks.
They're not trading Rodgers is going to cost this year's first and probably next year's too.
Don't they have multiple first like in the next year or two?
No. They spent all those already.
Oh, okay. That was from the Jamal Adams trade, right?
Yeah, they cashed all those in to get Garrett Wilson and Jeremiah Johnson and all those guys that they got the last 2 years. And
all good picks, though, by the way. Joe Douglas has done a great job there.
He's done a solid job. The first year wasn't great. Mekhi Becton was not. He's not looking like.
I think it was a good pick. It's just injury prone. Like if he's healthy, he's good.
Well, then it's not a good pick.
I don't know. I don't fault guys for injury stuff.
Also,
there were injury concerns about Mekhi Becton leading into the draft. It's why he didn't go higher than 13th or 12th.
Did y'all hear about Mel Kiper saying he's going to retire if Baltimore drafts Bijan Robinson?
Really?
And guess what? I kind of want to see it.
Well, the Falcons are going to beat him to the punch, so it doesn't matter.
What are the Falcons? I'm going to love the Falcons.
Speaking of quarterbacks, what are the Falcons doing next year?
Desmond Ridder, they're going to are they riding?
Are they going to ride with Desmond Ridder?
They kind of sort of have to, at least for the next 2 years, at most the next 2 years.
The Falcons aren't going to be able to get one of those top 10 QBs. So,
I mean, here's my thing. Like, look, I love Lamar. I think he would be great in Atlanta. But
he doesn't have the receiving. He doesn't have the receiving weapons. He doesn't have the running weapons. He doesn't have the line.
I mean, you throw it to Kyle Pitts. There you go.
That's not enough.
Drake London was the best rookie receiver this past year. Drake London's a star.
It was actually Garrett Wilson, but that's okay.
No,
but,
it was Drake London. Many are saying
there's an award.
Jameson Williams is Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams had knee issues, so so congratulations.
Jameson Williams caught one long touchdown. Congratulations to Jameson Williams. Go Bama. But Drake London, there's an award that the NFL gives out.
Really?
Not just the best wide receiver, but the best offensive rookie. And I don't think Drake London won it.
But did he win the best PFF rookie receiver? Because Drake London did win that.
Oh, God. Okay. All right.
So, congratulations.
All right, congratulations.
I was going to say, Chris Collinsworth is going to send him a 50. Hey, thanks.
So that doesn't answer the question. Who's playing quarterback for the Falcons next year?
So
it's not Lamar. Lamar is either signing a long-term contract with the Ravens or getting franchised by the Ravens. He's not going anywhere.
And if I'm the Ravens, I still do the 1 year. So I did keep franchising until the wheels fall off. That's what I'm still doing with Lamar. But I'm also, and I feel bad for the Ravens in the sense that like it seems.
I do not feel bad for the Ravens.
No one feels bad for the Ravens.
No, because look,
they've been good forever.
No, what I'm saying is the reason. I think what they're it's probably extremely complicated to negotiate with Lamar based on his negotiating representation, right? Isn't it his mom? Is that, or is it him?
It's his mom and like a group of advisors, but he's essentially on the front line.
Answering the question of whom is playing quarterback for the.
Well, no, the only thing I was going to say about Lamar, I just feel like the Cleveland situation just ruined a lot of these QB negotiations for a lot of these teams.
I think Robert, Sir Robert Silverman, Sir
really wants an answer here.
Brave Sir Robert, what?
I think it has to be Desmond Ridder because I think the offense, this roster is still a bottom 5 roster in the NFL.
Bad.
And I just don't think you bring in a veteran win now quarterback with this group. I don't think Lamar moves the needle to make this team a Super Bowl team.
I will be stunned if Lamar Jackson is playing for anybody but the Ravens next year.
I would agree. So
even for a Deshaun Watson type ransom of draft picks, the Ravens need him more than any other team. No team is going to invest that much capital because Lamar, unfortunately, keeps getting hurt. You cannot count on Lamar Jackson playing a full 16 or 17 game season. And that's why you cannot say, okay, we will give up all the picks because we are a quarterback. There are a limited number of teams that are a quarterback away and would be able to invest that in Lamar Jackson when you just don't. There has not been a year. The Vikings could. Yeah, that's the one team.
No, they're riding the Kirk wave.
Well, but it's really we're down to nut cutting time when it comes to that Kirk Cousins contract. Hey guys, this is probably going to be it. Only way he stays is if they go to an NFC Championship game, which the NFC is going to be wide open. And I know we talked about it.
You don't think the Eagles are the prohibitive favorites?
I meant to say the NFC North is wide open.
Oh, well, the Eagles are probably not getting back. Most Super Bowl losers don't get back, and
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. In the, I would say pre 2014, 2015 age.
I think
it's hard. It was harder to, but now, with everybody on still on young to relatively affordable contracts.
Basically, the Jalen Hurts is not getting $30 million a year next year, so you can still go off Jalen's rookie contract.
And you've got enough talent there. I would be
more than enough.
Well, I don't think they were even better than the Niners this year. The Niners win that game, I think, if Brock Purdy doesn't get hurt.
No,
I think what they did to that, Jalen Hurts was bad. No. They really were wrecking Jalen Hurts. It was three and out. You take away that Devontae Smith non-catch.
They adjusted though. But here's the thing. I don't trust Kyle Shanahan to walk me across the street.
I would let Kyle Shanahan walk me across the street. That would be fun for me.
I don't know.
It's a good short idea.
Maybe get a coffee somewhere after we cross the street.
I'm sorry. I just don't trust Kyle Shanahan's method of essentially money balling the quarterback position to get me over the hump.
I mean, he has.
They're
He's been in the Super Bowl.
They're gonna look. They will
twice.
They're gonna go. Like I think next year's the Trey Lance thing finally happens.
Well, it's when you bring up the Trey Lance thing, Bob, because
it's gonna
Trey
have
Lance
to, because everybody else is hurt or gone.
Right, and I think Trey Lance
resurrect Joe Montana. Hey Joe,
there was a very nice long form Wright Thompson profile of what Joe Montana's up to now. I highly recommend it.
I still need to read that. It's in my
it's in your draft folder. Yeah.
I will say about the Trey Lance thing, and that when you were asking me about the quarterback, I think prior to the Brock Purdy injury, because I think Terry Fontenot would have drafted Trey Lance had the Niners not traded up to take him right before the Falcons did in that draft.
Right, they gave away a fortune to get him, and could have just sort of sat there with Justin Fields, but
or just taking Mac Jones, who would have just been fine for them and would have gone to the Super Bowl. Like, he's healthy, he would have been fine. Like, Kyle Shanahan doesn't need an elite do-it-all kind of quarterback to.
Of course, but you understand the risk if Trey Lance pans out, having not just a quarterback capable of hitting all the throws all the short throws and all the timing plays in a Kyle Shanahan offense, having a guy who can also create off-platform like Trey Lance would have supercharged that team, and it still can. Like, Trey Lance
he hasn't played football in like 3 years.
True, but he did other things in that time. I'm sure he picked up some hobbies.
And he had like 1 year of tape at North Dakota State. It's not like the dude's played a bunch of competitive football to this point. I don't know. He's just a huge unknown. And I also think that
I would not be surprised if, they could bring in I'm sure they'll be bringing in
they're bringing in somebody else.
Ryan
Kyle
Tannehill.
Is not just going in with an injured
they'll
Brock
have Ryan.
and Trey Lance.
They'll have Ryan Tannehill hip pocketed when things go south.
I could see Matt Ryan being signed. I could see Matt Ryan.
Why?
They did it with Mr. Irrelevant. I feel like Kyle
just ride it with Trey
like
Lance. Here's the thing: the more of a Trey Lance type in the league right now, you're gonna be more successful with it than you are dragging Matt Ryan or Ryan Tannehill into that offense. Just ride it with Trey Lance because he fits a more modern style NFL offense.
Yeah, go for it with Trey Lance. You will have, I'm sure Brock
he doesn't have a choice,
and it's not like you're
OTAs. So
and
it's
having
not
UCL
like,
surgery. He's having like the Tommy John surgery.
Yeah,
right?
he's getting TJ.
He'll be fine. He doesn't need that arm.
And it's not like you're in a division that's difficult. Like I'm looking at the Rams. The Rams are just like, look. We're in it for the kids.
They spent all their picks. They won the Super Bowl. Now they're paying for it. This is the hangover years.
And they're kind of like about to hit a Leeds United stretch of, hey, we went all in.
Another sport I don't know. Come on.
I know. Oh my gosh. So basically, it's like we're going all in.
Is so unfair to me.
I know. I'm so sorry, Bob.
You don't seem sorry. That didn't seem like
here's a dime. Call someone who cares.
Wow. One, I think it costs a quarter to pay phones. Okay, old man.
Oh, inflation.
Thanks.
Inflation. I'm sorry. But no, I think I look at where the NFC West is for San Francisco, and it's a very winnable division because it sucks. Nobody wants to be around Kyler Murray's contract. Or Kyler Murray. I'm not sure which one.
Did you all see the clips of Gammon, of the new Cardinals coach?
I did not see the press.
You're talking about the one where he walks over to find Kyler working out in the gym, where he tries.
Yeah, and he starts channeling Michael Scott. It's quite delightful.
Oh no,
it's weird. And it's also I just feel bad for Cardinals fans because
29 years old. By the way,
I don't feel bad for Cardinals. Oh wait, he's 29.
The Cards defensive coordinator. They brought him in from Philly. He's 29 years old.
Mm-hmm. How old is Steve Belichick?
He's ageless. He's I
am so excited for Steve Belichick to take over. And it's either going to be him or Gerard Mayo, which
VFL.
Huh?
VFL Gerard Mayo.
Yeah.
Tennessee Volunteer.
I forgot he went to Tennessee. But it's going to be one of those two guys that's going to take over when Bill retires after like this year and next year. Because I feel like Bill is definitely over it, and the fact that he outlasted Brady, he can go, hey.
And he beat George Halas for F's sake. He's the winningest coach of all time. I feel like he's on top. He gets to pick when
he is. But that's what I'm saying. Like he's gonna leave like within the next 2-3 years. But
I don't know. The man's an addict.
I'm excited
he's a lifer. He is.
I'm excited for Steve Belichick to take over. You mean you don't want to see a ratty mullet being a head coach?
Yes,
in the
I
NFL?
do.
Yes, you do.
I want to see Nepo fail. Yeah, I do.
You know what?
I'm absolutely in for the Patriots' fallow years when their nepotism hire crashes and burns. That's fun.
It's going to be hilarious because you could legitimately have Steve Belichick as a New England version of Jerry Granville in terms of just kind of like a portly little fellow with a mullet. But
he's
then
in fine shape. I wouldn't call him portly.
But the OC could be Charlie Weiss Jr., who I believe he's still at. Is he still at Ole Miss?
I'm pretty sure he's still at Ole Miss.
Yeah. So like you could have Charlie Weiss Jr. as the OC in New England. Matt Patricia, which is like a 4-letter word here in Detroit, by the way. You have him as the DC. I think he's officially the DC now.
Who?
Matt Patricia.
No, Steve Belichick's the official DC.
Okay, so what's Matt Patricia doing? Because
they haven't found out his role. They are still because his contract I think was up, and I think Joe Judge was up too, or I think Joe Judge is still staying on offense, but they haven't figured out what to do with Patricia's role.
Yeah.
And then Gerard Mayo, I think they're going to give it to Gerard Mayo because I think part of the reason he's not doing these other jobs and like why he's not
interviewing too much
is because he's the assistant coach anyway. I think I think the succession plan is Gerard. To be the takeover. I think it's Gerard Mayo. Last thing here before we get into our picks of the week. Andrew, why the Celtics will win the East this year?
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it. I have not hit the emotional investment stage of a Celtics deep playoff run, i.e. finals run.
Andrew, explain this to me. How did you come to Celtics fandom? Because this is a question we haven't answered on the pod, and I'd like a clear answer here because it is evil. Chase, I need an origin story.
Chase, this is going to be a short, so just.
Are you doing the Bill Simmons turn? Kyle, turn the TikTok camera on.
Kyle, turn the TikTok camera on.
Okay, so here's the thing, because people have asked me this, and so like when I was like 4 years old, my dad rented 2 tapes. It was
one of them Celtic Pride.
No, God no. Okay. Great movie, but no. Okay, so when I was like 4 years old, my dad rented. So when the NBA had their video deal, they had like documentaries on like the stars and legends of the game. He rented 2 tapes. It was the Magic Johnson little biopic, not biopic, but documentary.
I just want to get a time frame here.
So like 1992, 93.
So he went to Blockbuster and he picked
something like that. So he got the Larry Bird one and got the Magic Johnson one. And I remember they were sitting on top of the TV because it was one of those wood panel TVs back in the day. Love those. And I remember the next morning, all I could find was the Larry Bird tape. So I watched it, and they would always, because NBA on NBC, which might be coming back, was showing a Celtics game, and I remember like, oh yeah, that's Larry Bird. I recognized, oh, he was from the thing, and so like watching the Celtics and seeing some of the stars that they had, like D Brown, Reggie Lewis,
Rick Fox, Kevin Gamble.
Like, but the thing is, it was so funny because it's like
Brian Shaw.
I had a Dino Raja jersey. Yes. But the thing is, it was the 90s, so that was like a lost decade for the Celtics because there was some guy named Michael Jordan dominating the Eastern Conference. Heard he's a scratch golfer, whatever.
The Knicks had something like a double-digit winning streak against the Celtics in that stretch.
Yeah, also. It was because they would only be the Celtics. The Celtics would only be on TV, and this is when like the Turner deal and the NBA on NBC deal were very bare bones, and nobody was complaining about the bias of seeing.
We're getting Michael Jordan every weekend.
Yeah, you're getting Michael Jordan every week. I'm so sorry that you're getting a $65 New York strip every Sunday. Sorry, but you would only see them once or twice on TV. because one, they were so bad, and two, it was like the NBA's TV deal was so bare bones. But yeah, like I had a Dino Raja
Andrew
jersey,
Leclerc,
and God, that's taking me back. And then I had a personalized starter jacket of the Boston Celtics. And
Eric Williams, Providence's own Eric Williams,
Eric Montross. Like there was a time where this team was just but so the Larry Bird like tape, I never actually found the Magic Johnson tape, so I always blame my dad that he's gonna be like
he was hoarding the Magic Johnson tape from you, so he kept the Magic Johnson tape away and kept you for a lifetime of being like one of the Lakers kids or the Lakers.
Oh God! Like I'm sorry, I could not be a Lakers fan because it's
you were a misplaced VHS tape away from being a Lakers fan.
Oh,
come on,
God. Man. But here's the thing about Lakers fans. Lakers fans want you to feel sorry for them after their annoying and arrogant and consistent whining over why everybody should come to LA and everybody has photoshopped a picture of, hey, is this guy a halfway decent NBA star?
Andrew, you were this close to being a Kobe stan. That's how close you were.
I love Kobe, but no.
No, I'm saying a Kobe stan. A Kobe who's like, actually Kobe is was better than Michael Jordan.
I would be pulling that Mimi and
career was better than LeBron James. Yeah.
I would be
you would have said that's what you would have been.
Oh God!
Were it not for your dad hoarding the Michael,
I don't. Here's the thing, man. I love the Lakers franchise in terms of the historic and cultural significance they hold, but their fan base, I swear to God, is a bunch of crybabies.
Oh, fan base. Oh, right. Like okay, Affleck. Like the Celtics fan base is so much.
Oh no. Here's the thing about the Lakers fan. Lakers fans will want you to feel sorry for them when it's like, hey, we know your team is a piece of crap this year, but they want to sit here.
Fan base is insufferable. They're
no.
Tennessee
Lakers fans are insufferable.
People like them.
Lakers fans are insufferable because they want you to feel sorry for them while they're reminding you, my team sucks at life. Please feel sorry for me. Nobody feels sorry for you.
Sixers fans are insufferable in their own fancy trust the process kind of way. Knicks fans in their self-flagellating way are insufferable.
Has anyone ever said a Hawks fan's insufferable though? I don't think I've ever heard anyone be.
Do the Hawks actually have fans that go to the arena?
You don't have enough of them.
Because there was a point where it was like, oh, why is Phillips Arena so packed? It's like, oh, that's right, because the Lakers are in town.
Okay, back to the Celtics. I don't like where we pivoted here. Back to the Celtics.
Is it still called Phillips Arena?
It's State Farm Arena. Oh, okay. But when they called it Phillips Arena.
Have the Lakers, speaking of which, have they officially dropped the Crypto.com arena?
No, they are holding on to that thing. It is so like
I am here for every single franchise and or player like Tom Brady who got swept up in the crypto craze and is now having to spend so much money on lawyers. Paul Pierce, they rounded up Paul Pierce in the crypto dragnet. That man.
They got him and Kim Kardashian. They got him and
Paul Pierce cannot post. I think he still has not learned how to post an emoji yet. That wasn't some like MS Paint clip art, and yet he has been. The feds are after Paul Pierce, in case you missed it, for his statements about he's doing crypto ads.
I'm excited for the whole like. When everything was going down with FTX, it felt like Crypto.com Arena is just sitting there looking like, hey, please don't look this way. Please don't look this way.
Mistakes were made.
It's not even that.
It's the Lenny from The Simpsons.
Yes.
When he says, don't let them live like this.
Yeah. Don't look over here. Please don't look over here. Just, oh God, please don't do it. No.
Okay, now I'm glad we got the origin story, and I'm glad that it somehow involves Andrew Clerk. This is good. This is good lore on the Andrew Hammond story to have.
Yes.
There we go.
Deep lore.
Bob Silverman, what's your pick of the week?
Yeah. I already said it. I said read the Wright Thompson
Okay.
Joe Montana profile. I got one in this week. I'm very proud of myself.
There you go.
I did a good job.
Andrew, what about you? What's your pick of the week?
I don't have a pick of the week, honestly.
Wow, pulling a Bob.
That was a Bob.
I mean, because I'm trying to figure out what
was the best thing you read or watched this past week over the last 7 days?
Content. What's the good tent?
Mm-hmm.
Tent. No, so I will say that I saw Ant-Man and the Wasp, in Quantumania. It was a great breadcrumb. Like they placed the breadcrumbs for the next phase of the MCU.
You're bought into the Marvel's Ponzi scheme entertainment
yes. Plan. Actually, one of the best things I have read this week is the fact that Disney. I was actually listening to it on a podcast. They were talking about Disney essentially going, "Hey guys, we're going to bring in all of these big wigs into our board of directors, all that, and the design of it is to essentially go on the cheap on things and spend less money, and it's going to impact so many things." So that would probably be my pick of the week.
Last year on Defector.com by McGarry talking to the actual people who do the special effects for Marvel and the way in which it's farmed out to, the way that it's populated by all kinds of exploitations that you might expect under capitalism, and it's why the visual effects in Marvel movies are often absolute trash, despite having all of that Disney money. There you get 2 recommendations from me. Read the talk from actual people who do visual effects in movies about why their product is bad.
And the reason I had said that is, I was talking about, with Disney, is it's going to impact sports because they have really kind of bought into the, embracing sports with all their different brands and integrating it. And we're getting to a point where the people who are going to be, leading Disney into the future, like basically Bob Iger told Jimmy Pitaro, "Dog,
it's over.
Don't get too attached to basketball." It's like, I know you love the shooty hoops, but buddy,
Gravy Train has been turned off.
Don't get too. Or it's like, do you love it that much? Like he just comes to him like in a calm, like Christian Bale, like American Psycho. Do you love it that much?
Okay, that's scary.
Do you want to listen to some Huey Lewis?
My pick of the week. Check out anything Jimmy Carter, because Jimmy Carter got moved to hospice care over the weekend, and he's just like me, obviously being from Georgia and growing up around the scenes, and like Plains, Georgia is like one of those places that I always wanted to go and just go see it once, just to go to Americus and see what it's like for him, because I know people I went to high school with and stuff like that who've been over and been one of his Sunday schools and all that kind of thing. But I think just read anything. I've read his book. I have it over here, outlining his early years and just what he did to give up his business to become president and all that. A lot of norms that are just out the window, but like Jimmy Carter just seems like just
a profoundly decent and beautiful and caring human being. Got rolled as president, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not overlook. Let's not sugarcoat it. He got absolutely. He did. He was honestly way too.
He was too kind for the role.
He was too. Yes, there. He was not built for that world, and he got rolled as president. But as in terms of actual human beings elevated to the highest office in the land, it would be hard to find someone who's better than Jimmy Carter. I'm right there with you.
Almost 99. Like he turns 99 in October. Like it's just a sneaky thing where he's had so many different health stuff over the years. And you're like, oh, is this it? And it's like, no. And I mean, the Carter Center. No, I mean, he just does. And him and his wife have just had this great relationship. You just read the books on him. Like he is decent to an unreal degree. And he was never changed by the White House, never changed by anything. And just a good dude. And it's sad that this is it. But I mean, 98, it's a great life.
It was for everyone who was listening to this pod, who I'm sure was not alive during the Carter presidency. He got into kerfluffle because he started talking like openly about how lust is sinful, and in certain ways, and people were like, wait, is he bringing a fire and brimstone preacher kind of thing? And it's like, no, he's just an incredible, like a true devout Christian who believed that this is a sin, and here's how he deals with it. It's not condemnatory, it's not moralizing, it wasn't any of that. It was just him speaking openly from his heart. And certain people like that got taken advantage of in a number of different ways, but we
can't elect that, but we're going to elect Ronald Reagan.
Me, who is, a garbage human, it's hard to even contemplate that level, the kind of like profound empathy that he had. It's really remarkable. Like you meet the people like that when you're like, oh, this person was an actual, like when you talk about why someone would be considered a saint and not in the colloquial sense, it's like, okay, you can put Jimmy Carter in there, sure.
I mean, he just left and was like, I'm just going to go teach Sunday school. Like, he just had no use for any of it. Like, he was totally fine in and out. Like, you would never guess if you just ran into him. And it's just good dude. Habitat for Humanity. He was still out doing that years later. Like, he was in his 80s doing, building homes for folks. I mean, it was just that guy's story. And I just think he's just amazing. And I think he's led a life worth living and worth celebrating. So, thoughts and prayers to the Carter family. Jason, his son, ran for governor and unfortunately lost years back that I pushed for. Great family. And all the best to the Carters. And read about the Carters because it's very much worth your time. Bob, you had a story come out.
I did. There was a story I wrote a story last week at rollingstone.com about the Mahomes-Hurts Super Bowl matchup being the first time two black QBs faced off in the big game. And so I spoke to Dr. Harry Edwards and I spoke to Professor Lou Moore about what the material conditions were that got the NFL to this place and why it is both worthy of celebration and not worthy of celebration. Anyway, you can read that at rollingstone.com, and I'm sure there's a tweet somewhere where I posted about it, but you can find it. It's a good blog.
Check all our timelines too. It's all over the place. Andrew Hammond, what about you? Want to plug anything as we wrap up here tonight?
Well, I will be plugging the last few days of my time at the Detroit Free Press because I have accepted a job at AL.com where I will be leading the sports staff as the sports editor at AL.com. So.
Very good. Very good. Very happy. Andrew's getting closer. Like, Tennessee plays at Alabama this fall. So
yeah.
It might be a road trip to go see Andrew and go watch a game. We need to get Bob. Like, Bob in Tuscaloosa for Tennessee Bama would be. I would just have the video. Like, I would just have my phone video streaming the entire time. Like, it's all live, just every moment. Bob.
I've been to Tuscaloosa. I shot an elephant once there. Oh my God. Because of the Tuscaloosa.
That's right, Bob. Bob
Everyone
Silverman.
got that? I could do the joke again if it went over anyone's head.
Oh, hold on.
You know what? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. Bob Silverman, Andrew Hammond, thank you as always, and I'll talk to y'all next week.